Good morning to a very wet Cape Town. It seems that every time I do one of these videos, it's raining. As with the highlights we had previously, we wanted to see what someone who has spent a considerable amount of time in a previous generation Fortuner thinks of the current generation. We're in a 2020 Fortuner 2.8 diesel GD6, and we're going to go pick someone up who has had two previous generation Fortuners, the first generation and then the facelift as well. He now drives a 70 series Land Cruiser, I think. Since it's raining, we're not going to be doing anything crazy, unfortunately. I had a plan of going to a little muddy play area quite near where we live, but the weather isn't going to allow it with the tires that this car has on. It's as same with the Hilux Dunlop Grand Trek ATs that are slightly highway biased, so no matter how flat you deflate them, we're going to get stuck, and I'm not list to go sickle in the mud in my boots and jeans. So let's go pick up Neil. He also lives quite close, which is quite handy, and let's see what he thinks. He's going to give his driving impressions, and let's see what a well-experienced driver thinks of this current generation Fortuner. So our knowledgeable Fortuner person today is Neil. Neil, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Neil van Tonner here from the Western Cape. Familiar with the Fortuner brand, having driven for quite a number of years various versions of the Fortuner and owned it, as well as doing some excursions into our neighboring countries with the family. Yes, the Fortuner, it was launched in 2004. 2005 became available in South Africa. Initially it was just a 4-litre V6. Later on the 3-litre diesel became available, and as a matter of fact, one of my very good friends still driving his today. Then over the last couple of years, or the following couple of years, the diesel versions, as I said, became available. Then later on the high-rise body, the without the 4x4, and then of course then as well as the automatic versions. And what is so astonishing, Jock, is the fact that, you know, since its launch in 2005, and let's just remember that's 15 years ago. Yeah. It's the best-selling SUV in South Africa for the past 15 years. Yeah, and there's a reason for that. Apart from the magnificent dealerships, support, and so on, they cater for the market, especially for the South African market, and it's done very well as well in the Central Americas, in South America, and then also Southeast Asia.
Yeah, that's a market you forget about, is especially Asia, because you often watch videos or documentaries, and then you see a lot of Fortuners or Prados, like they're called other, they're not called Prados there, but you see a lot of them all over the place, and it's for good reason. From my little experience with Fortuners, by far in this class, one of the best overall packages.
Yes, I mean it is in the so-called medium SUV market. One couldn't really fairly compare it, you know, with the likes of the Land Cruiser, the 200 Land Cruisers, and the Prados. It caters for a different segment, a different market. Yeah, initially my Fortuners, they weren't without their problems. Things that Toyota listened to and they fixed. One of my gripes was the fact that you had to, well, especially my wife, you know, with the 2 small kids, having to load the groceries into the car, you need to use quite a lot of force to close that back, you know, the boot, slam it, and that was a result of the huge space inside, creating an air pocket, which of course wasn't a problem if you opened one of the windows or the door, but of course there were security concerns doing that. So I'm very pleased to see with the electrical system here, opening, closing the boot,
makes a big difference.
Really makes a big difference, yes.
So we are on, luckily thanks to the weather we've been having, quite a bumpy gravel road. How does it compare to your last Fortuner that you had in terms of the suspension, well, it's called the firmness, but also just the handling on gravel?
Well, the first Fortuners were notorious. A lot have been written about it on various forums on corrugations and you know, rolling the vehicle and becoming unstable. The first ones, I've fitted some aftermarket suspension, which improved it a little bit, and that was one of the reasons why I changed to the second generation with the stability control. And that was well, from a security or safety point of view, you know, it was a big improvement. But this certain, and a while back we went through some little bit of potholes on this gravel road, and driving at about 80 kilometers an hour, you know, I was quite impressed. Didn't need to fight the steering or need to put in corrections, you know, just kept the direction. So yes, it's quite comforting to know.
As you said, the first Fortuner came out in 2005. I was grade 6 at the time, and I spent more time reading motoring magazines than homework, and I vividly remember people saying the Fortuner is a great car, but the rollover rates and the results they were getting out of not the perfect suspension setup and the lack of stability control was quite shocking, even for a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, I think initially there were concerns about quality, if I can, and it might seem trivial, you know, but the problems I had was the rubber seals on the doors needed to be replaced, which Toyota replaced without a problem. The gas struts at the back of the back door needed to be replaced, all under warranty. Okay. And then also one of the backlights got some water in somehow. You know, so there were small little problems apart from the safety aspect, but over the years Toyota got it spot on, listened to the customers, improved the quality, and then and yes, provide us with a really all-round excellent product. Unfortunately I will not be able to it's a pity I can't join you for an off-road excursion due to time constraints. I would have loved to see how it performed. But in terms of engaging the four-wheel drive system with just the press of a button, the cabin very neat. It gives you the impression of the interior of cars, you know, sometimes even double the price. And very neat. What I realized, or what I saw when I got in, is also just the roof, very neat with the layout, with the air conditioner for the passengers at the back, without this tunnel running in the center of the ceiling. And well, the first generation Fortuners didn't even have that comfort of being able to adjust the air conditioner at the back. So very neat layout, electrically adjusted seats, big improvement as well. You know, very neat layout of the infotainment system here. Yes, and the responsiveness of the engine is absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, so
not faulty.
At the moment you're on eco mode, and I found it in the highlights that between eco mode and power mode there is a very big difference in responsiveness, but the result of that is a very big difference in fuel economy.
Yes, I think also if we talk about the characteristics and so on, but the first thing that I've noticed is that when you sit in the steering wheel, you're not sitting behind a Hilux.
Yeah.
Initially, you know, the first two generations, it was Hilux dash, everything was Hilux, and this doesn't look Hilux.
Yeah.
It looks a lot more upmarket, and on the outside, you know, you've got the slim headlights, which is in line with the Toyota's design philosophy. They talk about the clean look with the latest Corollas. Everybody getting the slim headlamps, and I think it grows on you. It might not appeal to everybody, but I start to like it.
For me as well, when this generation originally came out, or first came out, I was like, I'm not sure. But now as I'm spending time with it and I'm seeing it with my own eyes in various places, to me it's starting to become a good looking car.
Yes.
I think partly because other brands are becoming uglier, because they're starting to over design the cars.
Yeah.
I think this will age very well.
Now also if we talk about the engine noise, if you pull away, yes, being a diesel, you know, you can hear it and it's noisy and so on, compared to of course a petrol version. But as soon as you're on the open road and you start cruising, you know, you don't even notice the engine. So the insulation, sound insulation, so on, really very good. Seats are very comfortable. As I've mentioned, electrically adjustable. And no, overall very impressive package. And if you look at the some of the online second-hand or used car you know, websites, Toyota's holding their value. You see vehicles with 200, 240, 260,000 kilometers, and they more expensive compared to other brands.
Yeah.
You know, with half the amount of kilometers on the clock.
In terms of price, this one is, as it's spec'd, 740,000 rand. Do you think that it sits right in terms of price, what it offers, and compared to its competitors?
I think so. Yes. First of all, it's a brand. You know that you're going to retain value, or it's not going to you know, drop to such an extent as other brands. You're going to get, if you want to trade it in after 3 or 4 or 5 years, you know, you're going to get your money back, and also having the use of the vehicle. So in terms of after you know, retaining its value, that's something that you should not forget. Okay. And then if you look at all the features, there are literally nothing that I can think of that I would add to the package. You know, this is the ideal family car, weekend excursions, you know, holiday excursions. Tow bar, you can pull a little you know, little trailer at the back, or well, not even a little trailer. You can pull something substantial. And with our Fortuners, we did not have a problem, you know, pulling you know, quite large loads like a horse box, for instance, you know. And so I think it's fairly priced.
Well, Neil, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the drive as well, and hopefully in a few years' time you'll be looking at buying yourself one.
No, thank you, Jock. It was a pleasure. Thank you. It was really a pleasure driving this vehicle. Thoroughly impressed. Really enjoyed to drive, and I'm sure there will be many very satisfied customers deciding on this vehicle.
Yeah, we see it on our social media as well when we do a reader's ride post on Facebook or Instagram or the like. most of them are Toyotas, whether it be Prados, Hiluxes, Fortuners, Land Cruiser 200s. It's a majority Toyota, and the brand speaks for itself. You're buying a reputation, and I think that this vehicle will definitely live up to that reputation.
Yes. No, thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks, John.